Hey coins collectors, welcome to my channel. If you are new on my channel, please subscribe and click on bell icon for more informative videos about coins. Today we're focusing on the 1970 British 5 new pence coin, a small yet significant piece of British numismatic history. The 1970 Elizabeth 5 new pence is an important piece in the numismatic history of the United Kingdom. This coin is part of the broader decimalization process that reshaped British currency, culminating in 1971 when the nation fully transitioned to the decimal system. While the 1970 new pence is not an extremely rare coin, it holds historical significance and numismatic interest for collectors. In this video we will explore in great detail the history, design, production, and value of the 1970 UK 5 new pence, covering various facets of its rarity, collectability, and significance. As mentioned earlier, the 1970 new pence coin was not minted for general circulation. Instead, it was included in proof sets issued by the Royal Mint. Proof sets are special sets of coins produced for collectors, often with a higher quality finish and lower mintage than circulating coins. The 1970 proof sets were part of the final series of pre-decimalization coinage, making them highly collectible. The background of decimalization in the UK. Before delving into the specific history of the 1970 new pence, it's essential to understand the context of decimalization. Decimalization refers to the process of converting a currency from a system based on non-decimal denominations to a decimal system. The British monetary system, prior to 1971, was quite complex and rooted in centuries-old practices, with 12 pence in a shilling and 20 shillings in a pound, making 240 pence in a pound. The shift to decimal currency was long overdue for modernization, as many countries had already adopted simpler decimal systems. By the mid-20th century, Britain's complex monetary structure was seen as an impediment to trade and general economic efficiency. After much debate and planning, the British government decided to decimalize its currency. On February 15, 1971, known as Decimal Day, the United Kingdom officially switched to a decimal currency system, where the pound was divided into 100 new pence. However, preparations for this monumental change began several years earlier. One of the key coins introduced during this transitional phase was the 5 new pence coin, first issued in 1968 but retaining its value as equal to the older 1 shilling coin. The introduction of the 5 new pence coin, the 5 new pence coin was introduced in 1968, 3 years before the full decimalization. It was part of a new family of coins designed to ease the transition for the public. The 5 new pence coin was equivalent in value to the old shilling, and for several years, both coins circulated together, allowing the British public to become familiar with the new coinage. The 1970 new pence coin was the last of this pre-decimalization series and is notable for being included in the final year of pre-decimal coinage sets. It was not issued for general circulation but was included in proof sets designed for collectors. This fact alone makes it somewhat rarer and more sought after than some other years of the 5 new pence. Mintage figures and rarity of the 1970 new pence coin. As mentioned earlier, the 1970 new pence coin was not minted for general circulation. Instead, it was included in proof sets issued by the Royal Mint. Proof sets are special sets of coins produced for collectors, often with a higher quality finish and lower mintage than circulating coins. The 1970 proof sets were part of the final series of pre-decimalization coinage, making them highly collectible. The exact mintage figures for the 1970 new pence proof coin are not extremely high but also not minuscule. Around 750,000 proof sets were produced in 1970, which may seem like a large number compared to the rarity of certain circulating coins, but in the world of numismatics, this is still a relatively limited mintage. Because the 1970 new pence was only available in these sets and not released into circulation, finding one in uncirculated or proof condition is more common than finding circulating coins in pristine condition. However, because it was only available in sets, it is rarer to find as a single coin. Factors that affect the value of the 1975 new pence coin. Several factors determine the value of the 1975 new pence coin in today's market. These include the condition of the coin, its rarity, and its demand among collectors. Coins that are in pristine condition, especially proof coins, tend to have a higher value. A coin that has been well preserved, with no signs of wear or tarnish, will be worth more than one that has been damaged or poorly maintained. As the 1970 UK 5 new pence coin was not issued for circulation, its relative rarity comes from its inclusion only in proof sets. While 750,000 proof sets were produced, not all of these have survived in perfect condition, adding to the coin's appeal among collectors. The demand for certain coins can fluctuate depending on collector interest. The 1970 new pence holds a special place in the hearts of those interested in the history of British coinage and decimalization, making it a sought-after coin in certain circles. The value of the 1970 new pence coin is not astronomical, but it is worth more than its face value, particularly if it is in good condition and comes from a well-preserved proof set. On average, a 1970 new pence in its original proof set can be valued between £5 and £15, depending on its condition and the demand among collectors. Individual coins that have been removed from proof sets and are sold separately can fetch a slightly lower price, typically between £3 and £10. However, coins in perfect proof condition, with no blemishes or signs of wear, can sometimes sell for higher amounts, particularly if they are part of a complete set of 1970 proof coins. It's worth noting that the value of coins can fluctuate based on the market for collectibles, the general state of the economy, and changing tastes among collectors. While the 1970 new pence is not considered one of the rarest or most valuable British coins, it holds a steady place in the market due to its historical significance. Historical significance of the 1970 UK 5 new pence coin. The 1970 new pence coin represents the end of an era in British coinage. As part of the last pre-decimalization proof sets, it marks the close of a complex and long-standing monetary system. Decimalization was a transformative event in British history, not just in terms of currency but also in terms of the nation's identity and its connection to tradition. For many Britons, the old system of pounds, shillings, and pence was a deeply ingrained part of daily life. The 5 new pence coin, while modern in its design and purpose, carried with it the legacy of the shilling, a coin that had been in use for centuries. The decision to make the 5 new pence equal in value to the shilling was a way to bridge the old and new systems, making the transition smoother for the public. The coin's design also reflects this sense of continuity and change. While the crown thistle on the reverse is a modern design, it also evokes a sense of tradition and national pride, particularly in its nod to Scotland. The obverse portrait of Queen Elizabeth II further reinforces this sense of stability, as her long reign has been a constant throughout many of the changes in British society. Collectability and numismatic appeal. The 1970 new pence coin is a popular choice for collectors, particularly those interested in British decimal coinage. Its appeal lies not in its rarity or intrinsic value but in its historical significance and its place in the story of Britain's monetary evolution. For those assembling a complete collection of British decimal coins, the 1970 new pence is a must-have. Its inclusion in the final pre-decimal proof sets makes it a cornerstone of any serious collection focused on this period of British history. Collectors who are particularly interested in proof coins often seek out the 1975 new pence in its original set, as these coins tend to be in the best condition and have the highest numismatic value. In conclusion, the 1970 UK 5 new pence coin may not be the rarest or most valuable British coin, but it holds a special place in the history of the nation's currency. As part of the final pre-decimal proof sets, it represents a key moment in the transition to a modern, decimalized monetary system. For collectors and history enthusiasts alike, the 1970 UK 5 new pence is an important piece in the numismatic history of the United Kingdom. This coin is part of the broader decimalization process that reshaped British currency, culminating in 1971. When the nation fully transitioned to the decimal system. While the 1970 new pence is not an extremely rare coin, it holds historical significance and numismatic interest for collectors.